I have to object. So I hope I speak on behalf of the Shimano guys. Wow, I'm so nervous. Because somebody watching me, I feel very nervous. Huh? Your friend? Welcome back to another video, guys. Today I'm here with Khiril and he has brought me a very nice Ridley Fenix SL, and like I said, I actually owned a Ridley Fenix SL before. Mine was a very old model. I think it was a 2015 model, but this one you mentioned was a 2018, right?
2018, 2019, so usually bikes are released like the year before.
Okay, so 2018, 2019.
2018 release date, but 2019 model.
Right, okay. So Khiril, thank you so much for coming out and welcome to my show, man. I hope that you mentioned that you have a couple of friends who are interested to join me, so hopefully if you guys like his presentation, then I'm very appreciative if you come forward and come onto my show. Khiril, over to you, man.
I'm Khiril, as Oompa Loompa has mentioned. Okay, this is my Ridley Fenix SL 2018-2019. So I got it from Entro, quite a good price. So I was like debating between this and the Noah SL, which not much difference in terms of pricing, but in terms of geometry and design, I prefer a full round endurance bike, which the Fenix SL is. So this bike is actually quite a Frankenstein bike from the start, but I slowly ported out more newer parts on it, like newer handlebars, newer stem, shifters, especially the wheel set, upgraded to a Lun 60 from a cheap Taiwanese, I think it was a 50mm Powerway. Then yeah, standard Ultegra cranks, seat posts from Deda, handlebars from Deda. The stem and seat are from Shimano Pro Vibe. These handlebars are actually quite wide. These are 42mm, so it's 40 center to center, but overall width actually 42. I was testing out trying my luck whether or not it's too wide or too narrow. But I went for bike fit. This is already done post bike fit. Perfect size. This is a extra small for the frame. So standard mid compact 52-36, standard 11-28 cassette, and 28mm tires on this tubeless ready. So it's tubeless GP 5000. Actually most of my components are aluminium. The only carbon don't have.
What is your height and what's the frame size?
Okay, I'm actually a fun size person. I'm at 168, 169. So this is a extra small. What's recommended for me from the shop is actually a XS, but the ones available were double XS for the Noah SL and this frame. So I decided why not try, because I came out from a Polygon C7.0 extra small, which was about 48 top tube length. This is about 489 or 498, about there. So I went, after, like I mentioned before, I went for a bike fit under Performance Bike Fitter. So they actually mentioned that this is a perfect size for me to go quite aggressive. If you realize how the stem is angled, it's -17. Not many people will ride this, and it's about 100mm. So he's saying that it's actually optimum for whatever rides you want to go, be it endurance or you want to sprint out the saddle. It's perfect. To me, the setup is just nice.
Can I ask why a Ridley? Because Ridley bikes, I personally feel it's a very underrated brand, and not many people go for a Ridley. So what is your decision on buying this bike?
Very good question. Okay, the reason why I picked a Ridley on top of name brands such as Giant, Trek, or what have you any those mainstream brands that you see even Specialized, is because I've known people around my, the ones I cycle with, they are actually riding Ridley. For me personally, because I have a relative who rides a Ridley and he used to race. So he says the frame is good. I mean, in terms of branding wise, if you didn't know, Ridley is made in Belgium. So most of the frames are tested on pavement before they release it out. So that's why there's a sticker on the other side which puts there tested on pave. So for Ridley wise, the vibration dampening, to me, it's just nice. It's not too soft as a frame, it's not too rigid. So I like to sprint. My friends know I will just sprint out of nowhere. And they say hey, thanks for pulling. And I say, yeah, it's because I like to do that. For me, it's just the geometry. I prefer something which is this type of geometry, which is an endurance geometry. So the top tube length, it slants down at an angle. It's not like most where you see the seat tube post will be higher than the dropouts. So yeah.
So Ridley has 3 main models, which is, this is the Fenix, they have the Noah, and they have the Helium. Noah being the aero frame. This is somewhere in the middle between an aero and a climbing frame, and the Helium is the climbing frame, am I right? Yeah. And this is paired with Winspace Lun. Sorry, I'm a bit not knowledgeable in the Winspace era, because I know a lot of people buy the Hypers, which I think has a bit of wavy pattern, and I think it's the carbon spoke. So what is the main difference between a Lun and a Hyper?
Okay, the difference between the Lun and the Hypers are that the Lun is the more budget-oriented one, and if you didn't know, for the difference between Hyper 65 to Lun 60, the difference is not much in terms of the carbon layout. That's what I know lah. When I bought it from BBB bike shop. So basically, the difference is the rim size, the rim profile. So for Lund, it's much more of the numbers like 60, then 45, then about I think 30. Whereas for Hyper, it's like basically 50, then 65, or below that is 35. So that's the numbering and the sizing of the rim depth is different. But generally, in terms of the rim itself, like the Wheelset, the rim bed, it doesn't have any exposed spoke holes.
And how are the performance of this wheel sets?
Okay, for my personal opinion, based on what I've been riding for about 2 months now with this wheel set, okay, they are quite rigid in the sense, even though they are using I think pillar spokes or sapling spokes, I'm not too sure, but I bought it from BBB. They told me it comes with, like, whatever they order, the wheel set comes with ceramic bearings. So I cannot check because I cannot be bothered. Right, so to me they are quite not as flexy as what I used to ride. So I like something which is rigid but not too rigid. Like, the reason why I didn't get Hypers were Hypers came with carbon spokes. So in my experience, because I used to ride BMX and build my own wheel sets and list my own wheel sets, I rather something that I can see the spokes and actually replace by myself. If I cannot be bothered to find a bike shop to do it, because the lead time nowadays, you know, you want to build one, you want to repair one, it takes time. So I don't like to wait. Yeah.
Just now, before we started filming, I guessed that your bike weight was 7.5, but you say it's not. I'll let you explain the weight and the reason why, because I see a lot of parts, they are still on aluminium, and you have a reason for that, right? Can you tell us what is the weight and the reason for aluminium parts?
This bike doesn't have much carbon componentry to it. Actually, not at all lah. It's mainly maybe the wheels lah, but I mean the main components like the what do you call it, the seat posts, handlebars, the stem, is aluminium. Because I trust aluminium because I used to ride BMX. So I trust the like, even though the vibration dampening is not as good as riding on a carbon, maybe a handlebar or the stem, but to me, I rather have something which is like I can just throw and it's still gonna work at the end of the day. Yeah, because like componentry wise, I don't really like to spend that much on componentry. So I don't find the need to. It doesn't make much difference to me. For the weight wise, like you mentioned, okay, this is about 7.8 without the bottles or what have you lah, maybe the pedals. Because we weighed just now, as you saw, it's like about 8.1. The only carbon part is actually this cheap Shopee, I think $10 carbon bottle cage. This was for my friend. I was like, bro, just get this one. I was like, okay, save a bit weight. Okay, no point. Just take lah.
What is the price of your bike?
Okay, the total price of this bike, as now that you see, it's raw about 5.5. Previously, I paid about like 2k for the frame, then the old components I poured it in. So 5.5 is with the newer crankset and the newer shifters, which previously I was using a Shimano 105 5800 for the shifters and the 105 7000 for the crankset. But now I changed everything to Ultegra, and I already got these Wahoo Speedplay pedals like about 2 or 3 months ago. I mean, they are wonderful. They're easier to clip in. I mean, lower maintenance. And yeah, these are the standard ones. I
would just like to point out as well, the cabling is really nice on the frame because it comes in through the down tube, or more of like the head tube section. So it doesn't, most bikes they have it down here, so it crosses here and then, you know, it rubs against the down tube, which I hate. So I think this is a good thing that really did it here. I mean, if you're of course running external cabling. Again, offline, just now you're talking about the stem, because your stem is a negative angled stem, so it's very horizontal if you look at it. And my question to you was, why didn't you just remove the spacers rather than get a negative stem?
Right, so the reason why I chose the negative 17 was because I wanted to make the bike look much more aggressive, in the sense whereby I can go for aggressive posture. If I were to go to a 6 degree or 7 degree, like I mentioned before, off camera, it will look weird lah. It will really look weird. I've seen it before. It looks like a tree trunk coming up. So basically, the cabling was done by Entro. So actually, you see this braided, this cover, right? Yeah, it's just a cable housing. It's just to make it nicer lah. Yeah, so this one was done by Entro. They were offered me, like, I was telling them like, bro, the cables are flying like noodles. Then they were like, okay bro, no problem, I have this item. Then I was like, what's this? Yeah, just buy from Sim, you can just get it done. Okay, got it done.
It's
so
like a computer kind of cable.
Yes. Those what do you call? Cable guide, cable. I forgot.
Organizer?
Yes, correct. Cable organizer. So this is basically a cable organizer lah. They just slap it on, which when I take a look, it's nice lah. Yeah. But for Ridley frames, if you didn't know, these are the signature. This is how they route the signature frames with. It's just the cables are like this. They won't spoil your frame painting. Like your frame paint won't get ruined if you turn the cables. That's what I love about Ridley. That's why I realized that I love more about this frame is that it doesn't get in the way. Whereas most of the frames that I used to use, they get like in the way. Then when you turn, it's like, what is this? Yeah.
That is one of the reasons why it enticed me to buy this frame, because of the way this is done. It's really ingenious. And because this is not a direct mount brake, because it's it's a standard mount brake, do you have issues where when you ride halfway you have to adjust the brakes because it rubs?
Okay, initially when I started riding the bike, yes, of course, because mainly maybe for the back rather than front. Because for the front wise, you can only access the port by turning the fork to the side. Meaning say turn the handlebars, then you can access the whole port. So Andrew did a nice job, a clean job, basically a perfect job to actually mount this brake such that it didn't shift that much. So I didn't really touch the front one, only maybe the back one just to adjust, maybe because I changed wheel sets. So that's why I need to adjust. But other than that, there's no issues with it. Yeah.
What will be your next upgrade on this bike?
Based from my pool of poisonous friends, like the one you saw at the side there. Okay, so basically, saddle wise, I might want to find something more comfortable. I was looking about maybe changing the cockpit itself, like not the stem. The stem I'm gonna keep to this angle right now. Maybe borrow from my friend's exact same one for -10, see how the comfort is. But generally, maybe the handlebars, I'm actually looking at the saddle and the seat post. Maybe the seat post I want to change it to carbon. Like you mentioned, I mean, earlier on I mentioned that I would rather take aluminium, but slowly I want to try to have that feeling like most people try, because I tried his bike, which is carbon. Okay, there's a difference in terms of vibration dampening, but overall stiffness wise is totally different. Maybe then I'm not too sure.
And you mentioned this 40 or 42 handlebar? 42, which is wide, man. Doesn't it feel like you're driving a bus, because you're almost about the same size, if not a bit bigger than me, your frame size? Would you get something that's a bit more narrower to go more aero?
Right, I was still contemplating on that, because I was also thinking about that, but generally these are 40mm center to center. There's a difference between 40mm center to center and 40mm end to end, because there's flare out from bars. Most people don't know that, but the flare out will actually make your bars either 42 or 40. But for this is a 42, but center to center is 40. I would rather try to go 40 end to end. Maybe try it, see whether it's comfortable, because I used to ride something which was 38. It's too narrow for me, man. My lungs hurt. So basically for this one, maybe I will try. But generally, in the long run, let's see how it goes. I'm still enjoying the ride, so no complaints there.
I ride 36, and initially I found it super narrow, but I find it very aero, man. Like you tuck your body in, and personal preference again, right? If it's not going to be comfortable for you, then don't do it. Last thing before we move on to Instagram Q&A, what are your likes and dislikes about the bike?
My likes about the bike is basically the color scheme that I got it. This is the one that struck me to actually get it. It took a while, because I saw this frame at Intro back in March or February. I was looking at it, but I already had my bike, so I was contemplating. It's like, okay, I'll see end of the year whether or not somebody buys it. If nobody buys it, then maybe for the price it's good, I'll take it. But the likes for this, other than the color, is actually the handling of the frame. The frame handles well, especially when you jump out from the saddle and sprint. Most people who ride with me, like my friends they say like, oh, you're still nimble After from my house at Loyang to West Coast Highway, I still can sprint all of a sudden. It's because the frame. Because it's a fun geometry to me. The dislike wise, maybe the weight Generally, most people, they like it to be lighter, but the only dislike to me is how the cables at the front, I have to change to a electronic if I want less cables, to keep it really clean. But other than that, it's okay.
Now with the new Shimano Groupset, it is wireless, so that is something that you want to consider. But actually, coming back to this point, because you use a cable management, right? This is kind of wrap. My friend, he actually told me, or he showed me how he did it, which was I don't know, it's like some kind of tubing that you use for your air condition or your electrical wiring, and then you heat shrink it, and then it kind of wraps it. So it's a really, really nice job. I don't know if you've seen that before.
Alright, basically I've seen those on bikes before. Those are basically heat shrink cabling It's actually used for those cable connectors where you want to hide the exposed copper points. So those are usually generally used for the i2 builds that I see. Even Intro did it. I saw them using the heat shrink He showed me an example, but this is a more cleaner, nicer look, because it looks like it's a cartilage type. Yeah, so it looks unique in itself. In its sense, yeah.
And I think it's less complicated also. Anything you want to DIY, you don't have to cut it, you just untangle it, right? Okay, so we move on to the Instagram Q&A. If you guys want to ask your questions, you can follow me on Instagram. I'll post the bike on my Insta story and you can submit your questions. So, you ready, bro?
Yeah, man.
Here's the challenge. You have to answer the questions within 1 minute.
Okay.
I'll take the time on my head. First question. How are the Loon wheels compared to the Hypers if you've tried the Hypers?
If I'm not wrong, I tried one of my friend's Hyper. Hypers are a bit stiffer than this. I mean, like, I don't know. I tried the Loon. It's a bit more flexy in a sense whereby you still feel more comfortable than riding on a carbon spoke. Yeah, I still trust normal aluminium spokes.
Why a Wahoo Roam and not the Bolt? And what is the main difference between a Wahoo Bolt and the Wahoo Roam?
Okay, the difference between the Wahoo Roam and the Wahoo Bolt, not the new V2, is actually the screen. The color that they have on display is much more as compared to the Bolt, the older Bolt. For me, the reason why I got this computer, even though the price is a bit donkey, I mean like 600 over, man. Oh, shit. So it's because the screen size and I like the LEDs. I'm a visual type of person in terms of when I write data wise, I like to take a glance. So yes, you can change the data to put slightly bigger or lesser so that the words become bigger, but in terms of display screen size, I prefer something which is bigger. So the reason for the Roam compared to the Bolt is because some of my friends are using Bolt. To me, the battery on my Roam will last longer than a Bolt, and when they want to glance, they have to like really but I don't have to, because the words, the lettering, the maps is big enough. So if you were to get like a standard computer which has a smaller screen size, you will tend to squint to take a look at where you want to go or what's the data on it. So that's the main reason why. Yeah.
Okay, so next question, since you got the light, why these pedals and not Shimano SPD pedals? Okay,
the reason why I got the Wahoo was because of the type of engagement it has. I mean, it's easy to clip on as compared to most of Kyo or even like Shimano. Like Shimano, the cleats, I mean, you walk on it, you're gonna spoil it and you're gonna spend more money. You want to spend like, what, 1 year you spend 4 or 5 times on a cleat. Not worth the $15, bro.
I have to object. So I hope I speak on behalf of the Shimano guys. I am running a rather expensive bike frame, but I'm running the cheapest pedals you can get. I remember I got this Shimano SPD pedals from Carousel. They are the unbranded one. It's not even 105, it's just plastic pedals. But it works, man. And to your point of because you walk on the cleats, right? I've been using it for the past 2 years and so far no issues, man. What do you have to say to that?
Okay, for me personally, because from where I stopped riding to my block, I mean, like, yes, we can clip in and walk, but usually for me, I like to sometimes walk to get certain things from certain areas of where I'm at. When I see most of my friends are even using Kyo, right, the plastic starts to shred. So when it starts to shred, you start to, you get lazy to maintain these type of things. So for me, I'm the type of guy I like to maintain my stuff. Even before this bike, I used to build up my own bikes. So it's a point for me to actually loop the cleats, is to take care of my maintenance. So it's added job for me. I added that. But I have no issues with people who use Shimano or Kyo. No, don't get me wrong. It's just user preference. But in terms of maintenance wise for these pedals, it's easy to clip in. I mean, just need to loop, see a bit. I mean, I can walk on the cleats easier. The main reason is difference between Kyo, Shimano and Speedplay is just being able to walk like a normal person.
Can I make a joke? Sure. You cycling or you walking, bro?
Bro, you go toilet, you want to bring your bike inside the toilet? You want to cycle into the toilet?
Okay, let's move on. He says that he loves your bike geometry. How do you find the drops because they look very deep?
Oh, the good question. Okay, if you didn't realize about this bike, right, the handlebars actually rolled up a bit. Previously, I had it rolled out down. But because of my bike fit, they recommend me to roll it up a bit so the hand pressure is lower. But generally for the drops wise, wow, it's like a TT, man.
Is it true that Ridley has a very bad service or warranty?
I'm not too sure about that because so far I don't have any issues with the frame. I mean, like, if the shop is still open and they're selling Ridley for a while now, it wouldn't be bad service, right? So far, I've seen like guys riding, like, even for yourself, you've ridden at Ridley. You know that, I mean, if you were to go directly to them, of course it's an issue because who are you? But if you go to a shop, the main distro, they have to earn their reputation. So they need to give that good warranty. And from intro, I asked them, because I'm the type of guy, I will ask them, bro, honestly, is the warranty support good? And so far, he has honestly given me a point perspective whereby he has customers who come back and they just give them either a new frame or just send back and come back. Honestly, it's good enough lah. From my experience, even the older times when BMX wise, You seldom get good warranty service at all in any brands.
Why not a Ridley Noah, which is the aero frame, since you run deep section wheels?
I've used the aero bike before. Maybe not many of you have heard before. FA bike. It's a hybrid between a Czech company and an Italian company. That was an aero frame. So the reason is that I don't like the feeling when I'm climbing. It's quite stiff for aero bikes, especially for Noah also, even though they say you can climb. But I prefer the endurance geometry because over time when you're riding long distances like from one end to the other, you will feel it in your back, especially in aero frames. If like for myself, this is a aero geometry, I mean aggressive geometry by itself. So these wheels are just for the namesake, not say namesake lah, for the purpose of being able to maintain above 40 along this, like I mean West Coast Highway, Tanah Merah Coastal Road. It's just for that, to maintain that speed lah. Yeah.
Disc versus rim.
The highly debated question. I don't know how many times I repeated myself on this stupid type of question. Okay.
Not to me, right?
No, not to me. I mean like with those I know, or like some that ask me like why not this, why not this. And it's like, I mean like what's wrong with rim and this, bro? No, you want to ride, you ride lah. I mean like for me, yeah, okay, I admit lah. For rim brake, wet it sucks. But in terms of this wise, who got time to bleach? Yeah, you have to send to shop downtime already 2-3 days. Rim, change cable, put, throw, finish.
Again, I've ridden both disc and rim. If I were to get another bike, it's going to be rim because of what you said. Bleeding is a bloody pain in the ass. And okay, but the disc, the modulation is nice. The modulation on the shifters. And recently I had an issue with my disc because I was cleaning my bike, right? And I think I was wiping the seat stay with a rag. And obviously your seat stay has all the shit from your chain, right? And I did a very stupid thing. After I used the same rag, I go and wipe the rotors. So it effed up the rotor. So you know it's gone, man. It's really gone. I had to change a new disc and a new rotor and a brake pad because technically if it's contaminated, no matter how hard you try to clean it, it's usually you can say bye bye to it lah. So rim, man. But I mean, I'm glad that I've tried this. So you know, if people were to give me the debate, I've tried both sides to be able to give an answer.
Personally, I've ridden this brake bike before. It was a gravel bike, even worse, got dirt inside. You can actually try to sand down the pads to actually save, and actually for your rotors you can keep. You just need to use like acetone or those light spirits to actually clean it off. It will work. I tried it before. You know these brake cleaners? Save your money lah, bro. Just buy this spray or this sandpaper. Bro, cheaper than buying rotor, bro.
I have an answer. Yes, I'm not so stupid, bro. I tried it. No, okay. So yeah, I know the whole thing about you sand down the rotors and the brake pads. There's also another technique I read online. They say that you burn the disc or the brake pads. You put it on a burner, right? I tried it. I bought rotor cleaners. It doesn't work. Maybe it's just too effed up already until you can't do anything. Can I move on? No. But I mean, I agree. You know, you try all those methods. I mean, try first before going and splurging on.
It's a technical knowledge that I can share with you lah.
Yeah.
I mean, just to add on, like maybe those who don't know, maybe they know now because don't waste your time. Go Google. I am telling you now. This is your option. If not, easy option lah. Just change rotor, change brake pad lah. Yeah, that's about it lah. Yeah.
That's why this is a pain lah. I mean, it's expensive, man. You screw up all these parts, you know, it's gonna cost you money. This one is your friend lah. How many times do you want to ride TMCR a week? I feel offended by this because I ride TMCR all the time.
If he's my friend, right, honestly, you try to keep up at TMCR, then we talk.
Oh, challenge accepted. Hey, I want to join you, man. Maybe you guys can catch me at TMCR or help me pull me also. That's why I say mine is a Chap Ayam production. You see my lights all, don't know, from Shopee, AliExpress. One man show, man.
Honestly, it's your content that matters, and not many YouTubers online that you can see that actually dedicate themselves free time, have a day job to do this. Most of them quit. But for you, you've been trying to look at people. I mean, I salute you. I mean, video editing, people may think that, oh, they just film then throw. But actually, it's a lot of editing, audio editing, visual editing, all the cues you want to add in. Pace here, pace there. I salute you, bro.
Yeah, thanks so much. I mean, the reason I'm doing this, I hope that, you know, the riders get a chance to speak out and, you know, talk about their bike, things that they like and dislike. So it's an avenue lah, you know, for people to come and speak out. So hopefully, you know, more people want to come and do this with me. You can just message me on Instagram. That's it, bro. Thank you so much, and yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.